Hey, Tubies! It's Lord Bob Hickman of the Order of the Purple Cord, also known here at YouTube as Psychic Bob. I'm so excited to be with you guys. I've been getting a lot of letters today, people saying, Psychic Bob, we're going to be here tonight. And I'm so glad you guys are, joining us. We have with us a wonderful and special guest here. Well, not a guest. She's actually just part of the scene. Is Lady Angela. Hi to everybody tonight.
Hi, Tubies. Hi, everyone. Hi, Purple Cord.
Yay. Well, here we are. Now, just so you guys know, if you're not a member of the Order of the Purple Cord, you don't have to turn off the channel. You can stay and be part of this tonight. The Order of the Purple Cord is an eclectic Wiccan order that Lady Angela and I run together. We started it a few years ago. We said, you know, we're Wiccans, we're separate, we get together on the phone, we're like thousands of miles apart, and we've given each other wonderful Wiccan support. Like where each of us live, there just aren't a lot of Wiccans, and so we created the order so we'd have a way to network with other Wiccans. And, you know, it's been a wonderful time, and so many of you have been writing to me and also to Lady Angela and saying, what about this purple cord thing? What is that? Lady Angela, you want to jump in and share some of your ideas on that too?
Sure. The Order of the Purple Cord is an international online group of like-minded Wiccan people. You don't have to be Wiccan to join, but of a like mind. And we're eclectic. We're not judgmental. We're not the kind of a group that gives you a set of on such and such date, we're going to do this. And if you don't do this, you're out. We are nothing like that. It's very casual, it's positive, it's fun. And if you wanted to join them for more information, you can look us up on Facebook under Order of the Purple Cord, or you could send Bob or myself an email at readings@robert-hickman.com or at opc@rarewiccaspells.com.
Oh, I'm glad you said, I think I put the wrong email for you, Lady Angela. I think I accidentally, just because I type it all the time, I think I actually sent bookofshadowspages.
Oh, that's okay. I'll get it there too. It's
okay.
all right.
Anyway, you know, Psychic Bob can't do technical stuff. And you know, the very fact that we're here live talking to you is a miracle. If you say to me, Psychic Bob, I don't know if I believe in magic. Well, just look, me being here is an act of magic, literally, isn't it, Lady Angela?
Yep. Now, tonight's especially fun because we're welcoming you all to ask Wiccan questions in the chat box, and we're going to be just casually chatting with you. And Bob, we do have our first question in the chat box.
Wonderful. What is that?
It says, She FL says, I'm interested in becoming Wiccan and would like to know where I should start.
I think that's wonderful. Well, you know, we had a similar question last night, and Lady Angela said it perfectly. I'm going to steal your words, Lady Angela.
Please do.
Lady Angela said, start with reading. And I have to agree with that. Get every book you can. One of my favorite books, actually, I don't have it here, but I want you to look this up. It's called Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. It's by Scott Cunningham. Mm-hmm. And if you don't remember that, I can't write it down now. You can write me later. I'll get it to you. Mm-hmm. But that's a wonderful book. That's probably the first Wiccan book I read. Now, you don't have to read that. You can read anything. Mm-hmm. But that's one that I recommend because I feel that he gives the concepts, the basic outline of the religious faith in a way that is very simple and clear-cut.
Now, Bob, was that the book that when you finally stumbled across it and read it, that it gave you that aha moment where everything just started to make sense?
Yes, that was my aha book. And in fact, hold on, just Angela, you can keep talking. Okay. I've got to grab something over here.
Okay. We're doing some show and tell with you guys today, and it's fun. It's funny that Bob's aha moment book, his main book that gave him the biggest change for him was written by Scott Cunningham, because for myself as well, except it was his book called Earth Power. I read that book and it just opened my eyes to the power and the universal power that I knew was there. But finally I had something that put it all in sense. Scott Cunningham is one of mine and Bob's favorite authors, but there are so many wonderful good ones there. Currently, I love reading Christopher Pinzak's Witchcraft, Temple of Witchcraft series books. Those books are really good. And what I like about Pinzak's books is that each book, if you spend an entire year and a day reading it and working through it, they actually teach you a degree of witchcraft. I was telling about the Pinzak book series as well.
Wonderful. I have to agree. I do love anything that he writes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as Angela was saying, we each have those aha moments. I wanted to show you I first read on Wicca. And this is a newer copy because I wore out my original copy.
Yeah, me too.
When you have a book you keep really using, and if you use it at ritual, you'll spill stuff on. So, luckily they make these very affordable. This is like $10 a book. So.
Yep.
But this is the first book. It's Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary. And then this is the follow-on, the second version, which is called Living Wicca.
Yep.
A further guide. So both of these I recommend for the new person who's asking, where do I start?
And I'm the kind of person that when I read and I study and learn, I'm a note taker. And so in addition to learning everything that you can, explore different authors, different topics that appeal to you in spirituality and divination and Wicca and witchcraft. Don't be afraid of the word witchcraft. It's okay. That's why we're eclectic. We do the things that resonate with us, and the stuff that makes us we read it and we think, I'm uncomfortable with that. We leave that out. We don't do that stuff. You just find your own path. And that's what the Purple Cord's about, is a bunch of us who have found our own path or are still building our own path to get them together. The second thing you want to do is how I said I'm a note taker. Start making notes of your ideas, of information you gather and you're going to use. Put it in a journal. That starts your book of shadows. That's the second number one thing for becoming a witch or to get into Wicca, is start making notes and start making your book of shadows. Do you have a book of shadows,
I love that.
Bob?
Oh, let me tell you, one of the things that I discovered over the many years of being Wiccan is that books of shadows have this way of growing. Like you'll start with a little notepad. And speaking of finances, you don't have to spend a fortune when you're starting out. Start with a literal notebook. Go to CVS or any drugstore and buy a student notebook, for like $2. But I will tell you that with books of shadows, once you really start to get the feel for working with it, you'll want to invest in more. And in fact, I didn't show you this last night, but this is actually one of my books. I actually have 3 large binders because I have so much stuff. But this, to give you an idea of how that will evolve, this is what, a 4-inch, 5-inch binder. And it's so heavy. There's the covers.
I have one similar right here. This one's one of my binder ones here. Pat to the brim.
Just show this to you. And it's filled with spell pages.
Hey, those are something I've made.
In fact, yes. I really fell in love with Lady Angela's spell work. In fact, this is how we became friends and started working together. I found her on eBay and I bought pages from her.
That's how we met.
It's amazing. And now I have to tell you guys, this is a true story, as crazy as it may sound. But I've been buying spells for years from different people. But when I got Lady Angela's package, and I am not making this up, I swear to God this is true. I picked up the page, it's like, wow, somebody's been doing some mojo on this. So I could feel literal power. I said, this lady's for real. Because I bought spells from other people and I was like, they're kind of so-so and they don't really seem focused. But when I got her spells, I was like, who? Have to talk to her. I wrote her a letter. I said, I hope you don't mind. I'm not trying to be a stalker, but I really want to talk to you. And I said, would you give me your phone number? I have to talk to you.
Yep.
Isn't that how we started, Lady Angela?
That is how we started. It's amazing. And look at us now.
Now awesome. We talk every day. We're working. And so, books of shadows, Lady Angela will help you if you want help with getting a book of shadows, because it's wonderful. Now, last night I showed this, but for those of you who may not have been in last night's video, I also have a travel book of shadows as well. This is my smaller version, which Lady Angela made for me. And it has basically the stuff from the larger book, a lot of, not all of it, just some of it, but it's reproduced in miniature form. So this one travels with me. And Lady Angela, you might want to explain the difference between the full-size Book of Shadows and the travel, so it'll make more sense to
The
them.
full-size Book of Shadows is the one that you have at your altar, in your room, at your sacred space. It's kind of like your reference and your go-to guide. You add to it all the time. You flip back to rituals that have worked for you and you reuse them. The ones that I make, the larger ones, are very complete. And they come in different sizes. One's about 200 pages, one's about almost 400, and then big fat ones that are almost 600 pages big, and they're quite complete. Now the travel ones they're half that size in length and width. So basically I print the pages, I cut the pages down, and it's more simplistic information that you need on the go. It's more for you to make your Book of Shadows yourself, what you are going to be doing when you're traveling out in the forest, the sacred space ritual that you want to use. I put a couple in there, but there's plenty of room in those areas for you to add your own and really make it yours, and what you keep in your handbag or in your car right there, or in your satchel for whenever you're on the go working magic. It's right there for you. It's more like a working Book of Shadows.
I have to agree with Lady Angela on that because, you know, like a lot of times I travel and I can't bring, I mean, you can obviously see how big this is, suitcases. Yep. But, you know, I pretty much know what I want to do, or maybe I'll just need a little help along the way. And that's why I love this travel book. And Lady Angela makes all of these books by hand herself.
Yeah. I have a few here to show.
And yeah, show us some.
And some people call them Book of Mirrors too. And I kind of like that for the book that I use that are more my own personal journal, because I do journal. Those ones I like to call my Book of Mirrors because it reflects back all the things I've been through that I've written down. And I like to, on my birthday each year, I write a passage, you know, to myself. And the next year on my birthday, I'll read back to my other birthdays passages and see how I've grown or changed and everything. I really like those. Here's one of my giant ones. It was an experiment one, so it isn't so pretty, but it's mine, so it's okay. And it's filled with so much stuff. I handwrite in it. I glue things in it. I put pictures of trips I've been on, all different things. But this is an example of one of the big ones. You don't want to take this with you when you're out working magic, but this is one I wouldn't ever get rid of. You know, this is very close to me. Another one I have that I've made is this one. It's a brown one. And see, the ones when people order from me, and you can order them at my website at rarewiccaspells.com. I'm sure Bob will put the link in the down box. This one has feathers and owl. It's brown cover, and in it, this one is one of my favorites. I use it all the time. During moon rituals, when I'm drawing down the moon in any of her phases, all throughout the month, or speaking to God or Goddess, I use this book. And I've really decorated it pretty neatly. All different things to give you ideas of how you can make your book. I have fabric in here and ribbons and bows and so much things I've colored. Beautiful. I never showed you this one, Bob, did I?
No, I haven't seen that one. I love that.
Here's to the Father God, and I have a picture of Cernunnos here. And the pages are all, I actually burned the edges of these with a torch. It was really cool and fun. See all different things, images. This is one I make for myself because some of these images, obviously, I didn't make, but this is ideas of how you can create your own personal book and make it you and make it speak to you. So this is an example of one I use all the time. So that's one of them. Then I have, this one is a small version of the journal one. I just doodled on it, which you can do. This one, I won't hold it too close because it's got some personal journaling. But this one I filled all the way up with journaling. So as another example, and this is the size of the travel ones. And then here's a larger one. This one, I have a pin I had gotten one year, I believe from Lisa, a dear friend of me in the Purple Court in New York. And I embellished it with that and keys. And it's a journal one too, but also talk about magic on the go. Well, here's Hecate in the front. I've worn this book out using it so much. But I put pictures of my altars in here so that, in a sense, I could open my book up and be in a sacred space.
Now, Angela, I have to tell you, I have not seen that. That is actually amazing to me.
I even have pictures that, you know, it's personal. There's my son, you know, it's a personal book. Your Book of Shadows becomes that way for you.
Oh, absolutely. I love the idea of being able to open and have your altar image there. That, to me, that's really awesome.
Like portable magic. And it's some of the nice altars I've set up, and they just touched me, and I snapped a picture and then printed them out and put them in there. We have some questions in our chat box. Let's see here.
Yes, let's take them.
They want to know, do we have a patron god or goddess that we personally feel a connection to? How about you, Bob?
Well, for myself, I have a great love for the goddess Isis. She just talks to me. I tend to venerate her. Well, I love her in all of her forms, but for those of you who know about the goddess Isis, she has kind of two forms. She has an Egyptian form, which I love, a Roman form that not a lot of people know about. I tend to these days be really drawn to her in her Greco-Roman form. So I venerate and worship her. As for my God, I'm a big worshiper of, well, I kind of have two gods because I love them both. And the wonderful thing about Wicca, you don't have to limit yourself. I love the Lord God Pan. I just really relate to him as my horned lord. And I also love the god Thor.
See, I don't connect so much with Pan, but I do connect with his other version, which is Cernunnos. You know, and I also connect with Dionysus at times, you know, for the fun, loving, and carefree, you know, and I connect with Dionysus, and I love Zeus in all his forms as well, as Ra, as Zeus, as Jupiter. And it's funny with the god and the goddess, it's like they are all part of the one. You know, there's really not separate ones. It's all just different ways of us to understand something that's greater than us. We put different names or faces or ways to relate and energies to draw from on it. But really, it's the all. Just like last night in the seance, you know, your guides let us know that God is bigger than a person or a guy or a light, that it's the all.
I have to agree with Lady Angela. I also have a devotion to the goddess Vesta. I have a little fireplace in my condo, and I was reading, I hadn't really followed Vesta till like about a year ago, and I was reading about how she was the goddess of the hearth and home. And so I said, wow, I'm really drawn to that. And I also have a shrine at my fireplace. So, you know, I tend to be, it's funny, you know, Wicca as a tradition tends to be, what's the word, biotheistic, like two deities, dual theistic, ditheistic. But within that, it's like Angela said, it's really all one, but you can honor it in many forms.
Yep.
So now as for the Order of the Purple Cord, we allow, you know, each person to worship deity in any form they want. When we gather as a formal group, we will do invocations to the goddess Isis and the god Horus, because we, Angela and I, decided that we want to call upon their forms and overseers of the order. But you do not have to make that part of your practice, okay?
Right. I like to think of it as, because there's also the triple goddess aspect, the mother, maiden, crone aspects. And depending on what energy I'm working with of which goddess in each of those roles I'm close to. As the mother, I connect very much with Isis and Mary, and also Demeter. As the maiden, I like to connect with a few of them. Recently, I've been studying more on Persephone, which is an interesting story all in her own self. And as the crone, I adore Hecate. We got some more interesting questions over here in the chat box, Bob. Where did you go, Bob? They're asking about offerings for the goddess Isis. I'll tell you something I do as far as offerings when it's for a goddess or for a god if you're a guy. Anything you get for yourself, like say you treat yourself to a fancy cologne and you put a squirt on for yourself and you put a squirt on your altar, we all have God and Goddess within us. We're all of divinity. So certain treats like that you love, the gods are also going to love. So that's just an idea. If you like the scent of roses, you could put rose petals out as an offering to your patron deity. You're asking about
Absolutely.
offering.
Yeah, I was hearing that, and I have to agree with everything she said. And like, for example, in my case, I also like to say, depending on, like, for example, the goddess Isis has many forms. Sometimes she's the goddess of the sun, sometimes she's goddess of the moon, or goddess of the sea. And I relate to her in all of those aspects at different times when I worship. So if I'm worshiping, like right now, I have an altar that I'm working on. It's going to be her aspect as sea goddess, because the tides and the moon are connected.
Yes.
So like one of the things that I just bought was I bought some beautiful aquamarine stones.
Oh, nice.
Represent the sea. And so I'm going to put some aquamarines when they get here on the altar. And so that's like, sometimes we want to give something really special.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to spend a lot of money either. In the grass and pick up leaves and offer even that, and they'll accept that. The important thing is that the offering comes from the heart. But like, for example, when I honor Goddess Isis as the moon goddess, like I'll offer to her like a moonstone, or I'll offer, like silver cloth. Like I have a beautiful silver cloth I'll offer. Or I might offer, like a mirror. It's a gift to her because the mirror represents the moon.
Yep. Or even water charged under the light of the full moon. Yep. We got a really good question.
Absolutely.
Someone is asking, I've been asked this quite in depth recently. When they're in a situation where they have an ex and they feel that they've cursed them, but also in general, they're asking, how does one lift a curse?
Yeah.
That's a big topic, but we could maybe give
that would be a whole show in itself. But
yeah,
just to briefly touch in on it. First of all, did this person say they put the curse on it, or did somebody else put the curse
How does one lift a curse? I have a feeling my ex-friend has cursed me, and she is in the darker side of Wicca.
Oh, okay.
That's
well,
not
first
Wicca.
All,
first off. Yeah.
Wicca doesn't have a dark side. We have a dark side in the good sense of like the Earth Mother, but not an evil dark side.
Right.
So there's good dark and there's bad dark. Good dark is like deep Earth Mother. Bad dark is hurting people. They're not connected. But in terms of a curse, I say one of the things is that, if you're working with the light, if you visualize that person and you psychically surround them in your vision with beautiful light, that alone overcomes the darkness. I also, if I feel somebody's in a danger magically, I also have a ritual that I just, very simple, but you can do it, is get 3 white candles, okay, and put them in the form of a triangle. Like on your table, you'd set them up. Like if this is a table, here, a candle here, and one down here. Put them in the shape of a triangle. And you put the person's name inside that triangle. And you invoke the goddess to surround them with her light and protection. And that's a very powerful way to break a curse on somebody.
That's a very good one. Also, I would suggest anytime you feel negative energy, like you're being cursed or maybe you've got the evil eye stuck on you, smudging. Smudge yourself, waft the smoke at you, or bathe your arms in the smoke. Be careful not to burn yourself, but just get the smoke, bathe yourself in the smoke and bathe your home, each room, smudging. And then perhaps you could carry a bit of rosemary, dried rosemary, or in like a locket or something on you all the time for protection and for healing. Or it's oil, like an essential oil of rosemary on a cotton ball inside a locket, and carry it with you all the time. It's very potent.
Yes, especially if that I think is perfect, Lady Angela. One of the things that I always do every day, those who watch my YouTube channel regularly, that I always wear jewelry, consecrated jewelry. In fact, let me take this. I'm going to show you my pentacle. If you have somebody in your life that you want to give protection to, maybe they don't know how to do magic or the craft, You could prepare something like a piece of jewelry and consecrate it and bless it, like similar with using the candle technique or smudging, and give it to them to wear. I don't go anywhere without sacred jewelry. I wear something every.
In the chat box, Amy Bell brings up a good point, and I agree, is doing cleansing baths and also special herbal or oil-infused floor washes or wall washes, just cleansing the home. But if nothing else, you could do smudging. Some people were asking about, does magic create karma? That's kind of a tough question. It's kind of unsure of what you mean on that, the person.
Well, if we define karma, let me just throw my 2 cents on it. If we define karma as an action creates a reaction, be that good or bad, then I suppose magic creates karma. But if, it comes back to your intent. If your intent that brings blessing, that brings healing, that brings unity, I suppose you'd get karma, but it'd be a good karma. It'd be an action that resulting in a good reaction. Because, the Wiccan read that we follow says, and it harm none, and it harm none. A big responsibility, because we have to really evaluate what we're doing and what we're setting in motion. One of the things I was taught when I was a young Wiccan was, just because you have the power to do healing doesn't mean you should automatically jump into that, because you have to have a lesson, and if you don't have their permission to do the healing, you might be interfering with their own journey or their own lesson. You have to really look at it from multiple levels, but it's a good question. So I think, to summarize it, karma, does magic create karma? Yes, to some degree, in some way or another. But it's not necessarily bad karma,
And there's so many ways to look at that question too, different angles. It's a very big question. It could be a show in itself too. But if you're doing magic for someone versus doing magic on someone, there's a big line of karma there too. You should never do magic for or on anybody without their consent, because that is treading upon their free will. That will cause, at a later date, your free will be treaded upon, and it may even be worse. So there is that balancing, energy is in waves, and you have to get that permission so that you're doing something that is good, and that will come back to you in a positive way. So that's what Wiccans believe. That's part of the Wiccan read too.
Well, I've heard it said, whatever you send out comes back to you threefold. You see, so you don't want to be sending out bad juju, because it'll come back on you. I've seen witches that feel, it's sad, but I can think of at least one specific witch that I know who decided that she was going to quit Wicca because she decided that doing black magic was more fun. Very sad path after a lot of tragedy she created.
We got a really good question here. I think this would help many people. They're asking, what kind of magic or spell, or what would we recommend magic-wise to help with anxiety? That's a good one.
Wonderful. Well, I'm a real big believer in the power of herbs. And, there are a lot of natural remedies. One of the most simple things, it's so simple, and people always say, well, that's not magic, but really is there's a wonderful tea, and I'm not being endorsed by this company, called Sleep Time Tea. They have such a perfect blend of herbs in that tea. Do you know that tea, Lady Angela?
Yep, I've had it.
Healing tea. And whenever I feel overwhelmed, I just drink a cup of it. And it does that natural power the herbs work. I think prayer is also a wonderful way to deal with anxiety, because what we have to remember is we're not down here just alone. We have divine powers that guide us and will help us. A lot of people, and this is kind of a side note, but I have to say it, is like a lot of people come to Wicca having been so hurt by traditional religious. They get into Wicca and say, I don't want to pray to any god or goddess. I just want to tune to earth energy, which is fine. But there is a of being of deity that will help you, that you can turn to, that will not hurt you.
Yep.
And this is why I think having the goddess in our lives is so important, because we all need our mother, you know. And some of us have been abandoned by our earthly mothers. Some of us have a negative experience with us. But
Yep.
the goddess is a mother who will love you and protect you.
Yes.
And you should seek her out.
Yep. And that's a good point. I am somebody who does suffer, and I fight with anxiety. And some of the tricks that I do is, say I have a stressful day at work, which happens from time to time. I'll come home and light an incense. That's perhaps a chamomile, or I love champa. It's an all-purpose cleansing. But that's kind of to smudge myself, you know, and to heal that vibration. I'll light a candle. If I'm still feeling kind of rattled, I'll go soak in a hot bath. And I like to use, I go and get Calgon. I know there's other brands, but it's bath salts that has lavender in it, because the lavender, as well as the salt and the heat, it just soothes me and calms me. And I'll soak in it. I try until the water's cool. Then I'll pull that plug, and you stay in it until all that water's gone. And you tell yourself that what's going down that drain is pulling all that stress and all that tension that you wanted to release, and it's going down the drain and away from you. It's intentional. Yep. Also, I carry a little bit on a necklace of black tourmaline, and that's to absorb negative energy from the day so that it doesn't hit me so hard, because I do fight with anxiety. But every morning I wash it off before I wear it again, because you have to cleanse that stuff or it'll get built up and make it worse.
Oh, I'm a big believer in black tourmaline. Let me tell you, not only will it relieve anxiety, it will just block people that want to induce that anxiety.
Exactly.
You know, those people in our life, you know what I'm talking about, ladies? There's some people who just can't wait to push that button on them. So black tourmaline will keep them away. And in fact, I have an old saying. It's an old witch saying. It's like gift and enemy. Have you heard this, Angela?
In a certain way.
Trouble. Many times I'll give them a gift of a necklace or a piece of jewelry or black tourmaline, and that just shuts down their power. They think it's really like, oh, boy, I must be really winning. They think, because I'm beating up this guy, and yet he gives me a present. He's so dumb, but they don't really know what's going on.
Yep. Well, I've often gifted enemies in ways where, you know, if somebody's just really screwing with you, they're causing problems or doing bad things, and you really want to do some kind of magic to punish them, you can't do it. But what you have to do is you have to twist it around in your thinking, as hard as it is, and you actually have to send positive energy and the gift of hoping spirit brings something into their life that's so good that they aren't worried about you anymore. They got their own stuff going on, and it kind of gets them off of you. And spirit will take that as you being the higher ground. And by sending that positive wish towards someone you really despise, that's going to come back on you good. It's going to come back as a good thing, and it's going to work quicker, because it was real hard for you to wish that good thing on them, even though you really like to go and kick them in the butt, you know? So that's another way of gifting an enemy. That's where my mind went with it.
You're absolutely right. You know, it's the truth. It's hard to do, but it's definitely something you want to focus on. See, because in craft, we don't hurt anybody. This is where the myth comes. You know, a lot of people, when they find out like that we're Wiccans, they're like, "Oh, you witches! Oh my God, you're evil." Any true Wiccan will be a wonderful person. You're not going to find evil among the Wicca.
Yep. Let's see. They're asking about different crystals. How about, what is your favorite crystal of all, Bob? And I'll tell them my favorite.
Oh, my favorite crystal is, well, gosh, that's hard to say. I've got two.
I know.
I love them all. Right now, let me speak in the current. I'm very into my Lemurian quartz crystals. I just really resonate with that Lemurian seed crystal. They have the little ridges along the edges. They just take me into that place of transcendental awareness. That's probably the one I work with the most.
I love that ginormous one you have that looks like a block. Is it close by? You can show them your
I can
giant
show.
one?
This is actually
amazing.
another type of Lemur. There are different types of Lemurian crystals.
Yeah.
And let me just preface this because I won't be able to talk long while I'm holding it.
Okay.
The heavy crystal, but there's another type called an Andara crystal.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Andara crystals are a type of a volcanic glass that has been discovered in California and Hawaii that has been revealed to be connected to ancient Lemurian civilization and temples.
Mm-hmm.
And in ancient Lemuria, they built giant temples out of this crystalline glass structure. And I actually have one from a lady who lived in the area near Mount Shasta, which has a lot of Lemurian energy.
Mm-hmm.
And she literally found this, and I'll show it to you in a second here, in her backyard. And she sold it to me. And she said, I don't know, this is some weird glass crystal thing. And I saw this. I said, oh my God, that's a Lemurian crystal. And she sold it to me really at a very good. Now, I didn't want to cheat her. I told her what it was because I thought, it's not good karma to lie to someone. And I said, well, this is what's called Lemurian Andara crystal. She said, oh, it doesn't mean anything to me. You can have it, So I got it really good. But let me show it to you guys.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk about your crystals, Angela.
Well, my favorite is I just adore moonstone and opals. Those are by far my favorites. Sometimes moonstones are more pretty than opals are. Opals are my birthstone, and I am just wild about them, but I really, really like moonstone. Next to that, I mean, as far as jewelry, I like the ones that kind of like opal change colors, like the topaz, mystic topaz, and labradorite. Oh my God, I love labradorite. So I like the ones that have pops of other colors. Those ones excite me.
I love all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Lemurian Andara crystal. I call this my
crystal,
Lemurian
guys.
emerald.
Gee whiz, it's huge.
It's a massive, massive stone.
It looks like a block.
It's not. It's a little bit like a, but it's pretty. Got nice straight angles on the edges, But I just love this crystal, and it's a rare crystal to find one. And if you look up Andara crystals, it's spelled Andara. You'll see them, but to find one in this size is pretty rare.
Can you imagine what it'd be worth if that was an aquamarine? My gosh.
Well, I've been wondering if it's an emerald.
Right.
I call it my emerald, and I'm joking. Oh, I got a giant emerald.
Yeah.
What if it is?
They really like seeing it. Yeah.
I should be a good gemologist, but I'm just crazy about it. It's such a treasure to me.
Oh, it's nice. I could see a whole building built out of that, Here's a question.
Yeah,
they want us to speak about jar of herbs for protection. This is a very good way of doing magic and of protecting yourselves. And I recommend if you're going to make a jar for protection, any jar will work with a little screw-on lid or some kind of lid. I like to bury them, or I'll sit them in the window. The ones I bury or the window, they share similar ingredients. Herbs that are for protection. I like to put pokey things because it's to ward off badness, like rosemary, how it's in needles, pine needles, which all of these resonate highly with the gods. They favor pine very much so. So pine needles, rosemary. I'll put little tiny nails and pins, and if you have broken glass, you could put that in there too. Be careful doing all that, but it's a device to fight off negativity. And by you putting these things into it, you're putting intention into it. Seal it up, bury it near your doors, front and back door out in the yard. It'll work forever while you live in the home. Or you could sit it in your window. Sit one in your kitchen window, or each window if you want. You don't have to, but each window. But it'll help to ward both on the physical and on the astral plane for you. About herb jars for protection.
Totally agree with you. One of my favorite protective herbs is the one called star anise. Do you know that one?
Yep.
In olden Victorian days, what they used to do is they would string them together on a string, and they're actually quite decorative. People would use them as decorations in their house, and they've been used on Christmas trees as well. But star anise is a beautiful herb because it's literally shaped like a star, and
Mm-hmm.
you can hang them on a string and hang them, and they're just beautiful. I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
fan of that herb. That's a big
Yep.
protective herb for
Yep.
me. And
Also,
mhm.
stinky herbs too, like garlic, cloves,
Oh,
things that
absolutely.
are real potent, they'll work too.
Oh, yeah. I have in my kitchen hanging. Well, it's actually not real, but I have a big garlic braid. Do you remember?
Mhm.
You know what those are?
Those are
And
really real.
it's not a real garlic braid. It's a fake one, but it's still protective because the symbology connects to the protective energy of garlic.
Yep.
You know, if you can have a real garlic, that's even better.
Yep.
But I don't cook enough to use it all up, so it dries
I
out.
like
It goes.
to cook. They mentioned star anise is great for offerings too, and that makes me think we might speak on something that is interesting with herbs. They all have multiple uses or purposes, or they vibrate of an energy that can be useful in other things. You don't have to all. That's why rosemary's good, because it's wonderful for many things: protection, healing. It can even be used for love. So many of them can be used for many purposes. So don't pin yourself down. I think I can only use this for this. Certain things like maybe sulfur, or if you're going to use brimstone, you want to be careful how you use that because its vibration is so low and at that lower level. But what do
Yeah,
you say?
I would say herbs. I've read some magic books where they'll say use wolfsbane
Mm,
or use mandrake root. But do you know those herbs are actually deadly toxic? And
yeah.
so,
Some you got to be careful.
unless you're an experienced herbologist,
Mhm.
I wouldn't use them, even if a spell book says use them, because some herbs, just handling them, your skin can absorb them and it can poison you. And I think like wolfsbane is one of those, like even just brushing your skin, it can kill you.
Yep.
So I'd be very careful. And one of the things is some of the Wicca,
You hear the
they
train?
yeah, I love that. I was going to ask you, is that in your house? That's not in my house.
Yeah, there's a train that passes right by.
That's going to be our Sunday evening kind of regular. Oh, there's the train. Uh,
Man.
maybe if they start watching, they'll give me precious signal.
Yep. It's super loud. Sorry, guys.
Oh my goodness, I've never heard that, but I've talked to you.
Yeah. They're saying my tree is decorated nicely. Thank you. My son did it.
It's
And my
beautiful.
favorite decorations are these ones, little snowflakes that glitter.
I love
And
that.
it's in purple and blue and silver. So it's like a purple cord tree. It's really cool. And it has purple garland on it.
Oh, it's a purple. I can still tell her. That's
Yep.
beautiful. I love it. Oh my
Yep.
God.
I don't know
That's,
what to top it with yet, but hey.
you need a star.
Yep.
Pentagram.
Yep. We always had little trees because we lived in smaller trailers, smaller mobile home, and now we're in a big one, and it's just me and him mostly. And so now we have a 6 foot tall one. So it's actually really special this year. So we were eager to get it out. So it's out.
I love it.
Yep.
Also talking about herbs, one other thing I was going to say is what you're saying about don't limit yourself. That's so true because
Um,
one of the things that you'll learn as you study herbs is that each herb carries one of the four elements. It's going to be an air herb, an earth
yep.
herb, a fire herb, or a water herb. So
Yep.
know what that vibration associated with that herb, that
Hmm.
will help you to know what will work for you in this spell. And
Yep.
like talking about magic, you can always substitute. Like, so let's
Hmm.
say, for example, something says use oregano, which is a fire herb, but maybe
Hmm.
you're out of oregano. You could use bay leaf, which is also
Hmm.
a fire herb, or um, what's another one? I'm just blanking here. Rosemary. I think it's rosemary fire.
Yeah, I think so. I think it may be, the best books on herbal magic that I've ever read, every one of them was written by Scott Cunningham,
Mm-hmm.
including the Encyclopedia of Incense, Oils, and Brews. I think it's called. That book is amazing. All of his herbal magic books, I have every one of them. I'll never get rid of them. They're my favorites.
I agree. In fact, I was just thinking of the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs that
Hmm.
he.
Yep.
That's one of my favorite books.
Yep. I have them as a reference on my shelf as well. Yep. And the book by Judica Isles. I love her writing. And she has the big fat books, the encyclopedia of different things. Well, her Elemental Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells, that is one of my all-time favorites. Always on my shelf, always.
In fact, you know what? I was going to show that one, but it's propping up my computer right now.
Oh.
My stand broke, so I'm putting using my thick books to hold.
Yep, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yep, and well worn.
Oh yeah, wonderful book. Do you have more questions?
Let's see. I was going to find one here. Oh, they were asking about how does astrology tie into our practice?
Well, you know, astrology for me is important because I follow, like, if I'm going to do magic, I look at a few things. I look at the moon phase predominantly. A lot of witches work with the energy of the moon. So knowing whether you're in waning moon or waxing moon. Let me clarify this. Waning moon is when the moon is decreasing, becoming towards dark, and waxing is when it's growing towards full. Or if you're at full moon or dark moon, which are the full aspects of the moon.
Yeah.
And so that's probably one of the first things. Now, because I study astrology as a hobby, I also look at the other planetary alignments. And so if I see a day where Jupiter is very predominant, I would use that to cast like a prosperity spell or money spell. If I'm having a struggle with a relationship, I look at a day when Venus is really showing up in a favorable aspect in the chart that day, the alignments, transits, and I do a love spell or a relationship spell.
Yep. I use it. What I always consider is the timing of the year and what sun sign we're in. Like perhaps you're in a sign where, you know, if it's your opposing sign, like whenever it's the time when Aries people have their birthdays, it's usually a challenging time for Libras where just seems like everything just falls to naught in our lap, you know, and it's a little bit more challenging. So during those times, I might do spells or be more likely to wear like my black tourmaline or different things to help me with that energy being present. But boy, when it's Libra time of the year, boy, it's my happy time, you know. And if it's like under Leo time, you know, this is a time whenever things are going to shine, you know, and be recognized. I look at it that way for what kind of energy is in the air right now, just like you said, but only in a different, you know, that's a way that I use it with my magic.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. You know, that's so true because the sun signs are also a wonderful source of power. So yes, you know, don't, as we always say, don't limit yourself. Explore all the facets of the planets. And, you know, if you come up with something as you're developing your practice and it doesn't fit standard astrology, like let's say like the planet Venus for you represents healing rather than love, you can do your spell if you have a connection with that energy current.
Oh, someone just brought something really neat up I got to mention because I think it's great. Mama Bird says purple plates are great for crystals too. I think that's true. If you use a purple dish for any magical or spiritual item, it's really going to increase its vibration and power. What do you think, Bob?
Absolutely. And I have to ask Mama Bird, is she talking about the metallic purple plates? Because there is also a type of plate. It's called a purple plate that is a high frequency resonating plate that is made of metal. So I don't know if she means just any purple plate or the specific thing that's a product called the purple plate.
I'll see if she comments on that. Okay, I was just thinking of purple dishes or purple glass dishes, you know.
Anything in purple carries a high vibration. That's why Lady Angela and I put on our purple hats tonight because we were part of the purple cord. And we said, well, let's wear purple. It's a good high energy color.
Well, someone actually just asked about that. Sherry Datillo says that she has a conical hat also. Does it help with power?
Well, you know, I would say anything that you want to use as a tool can. Because the witch's hat, like we're wearing, represents the cone of power. And so when you're trying to focus and you want to release power, like if you're sending energy up, wearing a conical help can help you to focus that power. I think it can be a tool. Absolutely.
Mama Bird says it's a Tesla plate. Tesla, like the electric guy.
Yeah, I know what she's talking. I have actually one of those, and they are very powerful.
What is it?
I don't have mine stored away right now because I got so much stuff in boxes, but it's a plate. It's a square plate, about 12 inches square, and it's made of aluminum, but it has gone through a special process. It's a secret process. They never tell what it is, but it changes the molecular structure of the plate so that it releases. It's like an energy releasing plate.
She says
And
it's a specially charged metal.
it is. That's what it is. Specially charged metal. Thank you. And it does enhance anything that's put on it, whether it's crystals, whether it's food. I've seen people take purple plates and put food on them, and it lasts long. Like if you have fresh fruit, you put on purple plate, it'll last longer.
Wow. I bet they use electricity with it. I bet they do, like infuse it or hit it with a big and charge it up. I bet they do.
Could be. I'm not sure how it's done, but it is a fascinating thing.
You know, they do that with crystals. I've seen them on eBay now. These quartz crystals that I believe the process is they put it near titanium metal and then they hit it with electricity and the crystals change to all the colors in the spectrum of that, that burst of electricity. Oh, brilliant colors. It's amazing.
I love that.
Amazing.
I love it. Yeah. Well, one of my favorite crystals also, because we're talking about crystals, I love them all, but one of the ones I also work with a lot is called Aqua Aura crystal.
Oh,
and Aqua Aura is great. That's a wonder. It's great for prosperity spells as well as peace. What they do is they take a regular quartz crystal, but they put it in a hyperbaric chamber and they bombard it with solid gold, like gold molecules. Wow. But when the gold fuses with the quartz, it creates a chemical reaction that changes the quartz into a kind of an aqua colored quartz. You'd think it'd become gold.
It's kind of like what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's a good stone.
Ooh, here's a great question. Katie McKenzie says, oh, and how neat. Someone else, Carol Pettis, has a Tesla bracelet that she keeps for her magical working. That's cool, Carol. Now, Katie McKenzie says, please tell us about Yule in the Wicca tradition. Such a beautiful time of year. Great question.
Yeah, great question. Yeah. Well, jump in on that, Lady Angela. You got the Yule tree.
Right. I knew I was going to get that. Well, Yule time is a time whenever we're celebrating. It's the change of the season. We're moving into the dark time of the year. We're moving into the different phases of the god. He's changing over. He's an old man. And we're also getting ready for the birth of the child of the sun god. And we do different things to celebrate it. And it's funny because there's so much pagan traditions in the current Christmas tradition, like the Yule tree and the Yule log. These were things that they would haul in, the pagans in the day of old would haul in the Yule log and burn it, and it would burn for so long. And it was the big festivities of the celebration of light and the celebration of, I'm getting all overwhelmed with so much to say. You go, Bob.
All right, well, I'll take up there because the tradition, it's so funny because when I see Christians, and I'm not knocking on Christians, but they go around and scream that Christmas must have Christmas trees. And I'm like, that's really pagan. Mm-hmm. And Yule is about the coming child promise, the Lord.
Yep.
At Samhain, the Lord dies in some traditions, and at some he fades away at Yule and transforms. Either way, the goddess experiences the Lord in a new way at Yule. Mm-hmm. So we celebrate the light. That's why Christmas trees have light on them, and the Yule log literally comes from the pagan Yule tradition where they would burn the log to celebrate the light, and it was considered a new beginning and purity. In fact, the Yule log was so sacred, usually they wouldn't burn it all the way down. They'd keep just a small piece of it and light the next year's fire with it.
Wow, it's amazing. And so many things like the star on top of the tree. I love the stuff where paganism and also religion tie in together, like the star that they saw in the sky on the night whenever Christ was born, Christ being the Sun Lord, and how it all ties in together. It's just amazing. It's really fun, and it is amazing. They asked what date. December 21st is the date of Yule, which is also the exact date of whenever that season actually begins as well, right, Bob?
Yes. Sometimes astrologically, Yule will fall on the 22nd instead of the 21st. In fact, I have to check my book, but it may actually be 22nd this year, or maybe it was like. But I always celebrated on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because the way the planets align, and I think it's right around when sun moves into Capricorn. Is that it? I'm pretty sure it's when sun moves into Capricorn is when Yule happens. And so that's kind of depending on when sun moves into Capricorn, depends on when Yule is. It's either 21st or 22nd. But I don't have my astrology book here to tell you what time it moves in on that this year. But we'll do that in a future video.
Yeah.
But it is, I celebrate no matter when it comes. I always celebrate on the 21st because I grew up with it being on the 21st.
Right. Yeah, the winter solstice. That's right. Amy Craft's 2012 is reminding me. That's the winter solstice. So, yeah. I knew that. Just, you get tongue-tied when you're on the spot.
There's so much stuff here that I'm like, yeah, they did that winter solstice.
Yeah. Especially when it's live, it's just hit and miss. We're going with the flow here. So,
Absolutely. See?
They want us to do a ritual. We'll have to do that next time, a ritual. They're asking us, are we going to do a spell?
We could do that. We'd have to have some people call the quarters, and we could set up and do an active ritual.
Oh, that'd be fun, huh? That would be awesome. What do you guys think? Would people want to participate?
We're gonna have to set that up so we can actively make it work.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to coordinate that for sure.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Well, that's been one of our goals all along. Lady Angela and I said we want to give people the chance to also have a group working. And now with the technology, we can actually do that.
Yep. Oh, they're getting excited about that. Yep.
I love it. I love it.
We could do drawing down the moon rituals and everything. It'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine, like, all of you at home now, just think, you could bring your altar tools to your table, and, like, when we're drawing down the moon, we could all raise our chalices together, or athames, or however, we want to do it. And I think this would be great. I think to make the best, we could coordinate, like, perhaps we could write out a ritual script and email it out to people.
Or we could put it in the info box, like maybe the verbiage of the ritual that they could print it or follow along.
Yeah, or we could post it on websites so they could download it or something.
Yep,
so yeah,
that'd be exciting.
I think we should definitely do that. So I love that.
Yep.
I'm all for it.
Yep. They're speaking about how much they love when you do your travel magic videos too. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I have a lot of fun. Well, I'll be traveling, with all the holidays coming. So we're going to definitely be doing more of that. So yes, absolutely.
They want to know about how many people are in the Order of the Purple Cord. There's several hundred actual in the Purple Cord. There's a smaller group that we have on our Facebook page because we do have a private group Facebook page, and we keep it private so that many of us, we have family or coworkers that know our Facebook account, and they can't know all of our business, all of our witchy business, and every post we make, we want it to be private and just within our group. So we created a safe place, a secret page on Facebook for our group. And in that group, we have just under 100 members. You don't have to be on that page to be a member. You don't have to be a member to be on that page, but it keeps it more private, and just some people don't want to be on the Facebook page, and that's okay too. You're still a Purple Cord member even though you're not there. That's fine, and we recognize you as well. So I hope that answered it for them.
One of the things that I've been working on, which I've been working on for a while, but I've been distracted.
The manual?
We're going to have a manual coming out in the new year in 2018, which is going to be kind of a daily liturgy you could practice at your home. Now, let me clarify this. You don't have to do the rituals. Well, a lot of people are asking, it's like, we'd like to be part of something. And so we'll have things in it like, a daily ritual at your altar where you know that when you're doing it, everybody around the world is doing it. So like,
Yep.
every day we'll have in the book, like every day at 8 p.m. at night, you stop and you do this certain ritual. And when you're doing it, other people around the world are doing it as well.
Yep.
Things like
Yep.
that, things about those symbols that will represent us, things like that. So we'll have that for all of you soon. And it'll be a free book. We're going to try and make it so that you can download it as
Yeah.
well.
Like a PDF or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
We could do a PDF file they could download or print or whatever and have it. Absolutely. Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, little by little. There's a lot to running an order. And I don't think either of us realized it when we got excited. So, well, let's start the order,
Yep.
And we both had this inspiration of like, what, let's connect others because we connected. We were both in places where we didn't have a lot of Wiccan friends at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like how wonderful it's been. And so all of you have been coming. We're really touched that you take the time to be part of the order. It means a lot to us.
They're
And we
really
hope that,
liking us live.
but we're liking it too. And
Yeah,
we
it's
really
fun.
want to be able to, really take our work and our connection with all of you to the next level. And so we're going to be able to do rituals and have, our book and stuff. And we'll all be able to work together. And I think that's going to make the order a lot more connected, a lot more powerful, because
Yeah.
we're not just here just for fun. We're here to do a spiritual work to
And to help
raise
raise that light of spirit.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to the book you announced yesterday about Psychic Bob's Book of Sun Signs. Oh my God, I can't wait for that. I'm going to get the first copy. You better give me the first copy because I really want it.
Yeah, I'll have it shipped to you straight off.
Yeah.
This is my book I'm working on. I wasn't going to tell about, but I might as well. I'm writing a book. I get so many letters about astrology and this sun sign and what's that and is that compatible with this?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm writing a book where it's going to be basically an understanding of what each sun sign is, how you understand it, traits of the person, what you can know about that sign, how does that interact with other signs, things like that. Now, as you know, Lady Angela, with astrology, it can get so many layers deep.
Yeah.
Very complex. So I'm going to limit it. I'm going to try to make this book very simple, but at the same time, it will be a great help to many people who are just starting out in astrology.
Yep. Who knows? Maybe you'll get excited and get us one about what the transits mean. But boy, that could be that'd be this thick or so, 800 pages long.
Down the road. Now, don't get me overwhelmed here.
Just have Fletcher write it for you. It'll be okay. No.
Yeah, but Fletcher, he never sleeps, so he'll wake me up to type it for him at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, he had me giggling yesterday, though. Him talking about he chases skirts up there in heaven.
Oh my God, I saw that and I about wanted to go. I said, he's putting that through me. I wanted to say Fletcher.
I know it. It was so funny.
Is anybody out there want a spirit guide? Because I've been trying to get a better guide.
Hey, I'll take him anytime. He's a smooth operator, that one, Fletcher. I'll take him.
I'm going to tell you, after a week, you'll send him back. You really will. You're going to say, Bob, get this. Hey, that's tell you something. God, this is true. This is crazy. It says, one night I woke up in the middle of the night and Fletcher was literally audibly talking in my room, not just channeling through, like physically in the room. And I had a new neighborhood moved into the condo next to me. And I had told her earlier in the week I might be having company come to visit and stuff. But they didn't, my company never came. But the next day I saw this girl and she says, "Oh, did your friends come to visit?" I said, "No, why?" And she says, "I swear I heard you and another guy talking last night." And I said, "I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to wake you." She said, "Oh, I was up late, but it sounded like somebody, like you had people over." And she said, "I thought, wow, they're up late and I hope he's having a good time with it." And I thought, oh my God, she actually heard Fletcher's voice, like audibly. It was audible.
Holy cow. I have heard spirit's voice sometimes. Yeah. Isn't it amazing in certain situations where you don't expect it and you'll just hear it? Sometimes it feels externally you hear it. Sometimes you feel it internally. But Bob, I bet you hear it every which way because you're psychic Bob and you're so in tune tightly with the spirit world. This is something
Well,
rare for us.
there are a lot of chitter and chatter that I don't normally want to hear. But one of the things is like we learn to tune that down. So I'm lucky that I've learned to tune that down so I can have a normal life. Like today, for example, those of you may not have seen, I went out shopping and I went to lunch today and we went out and see the sun. So like when I'm out and about walking around the streets, generally my psychic stuff's tuned way down so I can just be in the present moment. This is why sometimes people will see me on the street and they'll run up and say, "Oh my God, Psychic Bob, you're here." And they'll start into a barrage of questions. I need to know about my marriage. I need to know about my job. And I have to tell them, I said, I'm not tuned in. See, my channel has to open. So, if I want to help, I have to sit down for a minute and focus because I have to open that channel.
So there's something going on chit chat in the chat. And it's funny because the first time I saw you wearing that hat or the others with the spider web look on them, the way that the creases are, it makes a face. And so they keep asking. See, in one video you did, I almost saw it was on Halloween.
That was shocking.
Like a skeleton face, and I thought, wow, that's cool. But I knew it was just the creases. Well, today it actually looks like a face, and they're asking, well, who's on Bob's hat?
Whoever wants to be there.
Yeah, right. It's just an illusion.
I don't know who those faces were, but I have to tell you, I saw that video. And I was shocked because
you saw the skeleton too?
Yeah, I saw it clear as day.
Yeah.
And you know what? What's interesting is I do believe, and I have had experience where spirits can take a material object and manifest through it.
Sure.
I went to a haunted house once, and there was literally a face in the plaster, like the way the plaster had been on the wall dry, and it almost looked photographic. It was that distinct.
Yep.
So they can bend light and bend energies and shadow to manifest. So if somebody's in my hat tonight, they're here.
Yep. But it's really spider webs on there, guys. It's just the way it's doing. How fun.
Well, I wear spider. I have to tell you about the spider webs. I used to have a terrible, terrible, terrible phobia of spiders.
Oh.
And I used to kill a spider whenever I saw it. Well, this was in my younger years before I was a little less enlightened about life. And I met a Buddhist monk. And he saw me kill a spider. I was visiting a friend who had a Buddhist monk. And I said, "Oh my God, spider, I'm freaking killed the spider." And the Buddhist monk said to me, he said, "You have a great fear of these spiders." I said, "Oh God, yes, Mm-hmm. And he said, "If you try to not kill them and let them be," he said, "your fear will lessen." And I said, "I don't believe that." He said, "Try it." Well, guess what? Next time I saw a spider, I decided to, and he even said, give compassion to the animal. So I started praying for a spider when I would see a spider. Let go a lot of my fear so much. I used to literally become paralyzed. Like you see people have a phobia, and when it really hits them, it sends them into an anxiety attack.
Yep.
Being a spider would do that. So I couldn't even look at like a hat like this. Just an image of a spider would set me over the edge.
Wow.
Once I overcame that, now I can see it and feel a connection with the spider. And now I can literally get up close to spider webs and talk to spiders and watch them weave their webs, and I'm at peace with them. And I thank that Buddhist monk for teaching me that.
That is fun. It reminds me of this cute little like sticker I saw one time. And it showed a spider, and it showed like a woman's hand, and she was pinching the spider web and like pulling it away. And her husband said, "Well, what the heck is that for?" And she said, "I'm about to cast a spell." She was going to use the spider web. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? It was so funny.
Oh, that's sweet. I hope the spider didn't mind.
Yeah, I hope not either, but that just reminded me of that. It's just something silly. We chat about everything, don't we, Bob? Gee whiz.
You know. Looking for a formal lecture, you probably not go get it.
Yeah.
You have to keep it casual in the OPC.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of OPC, you got a beautiful purple cord on. I was going to show one little purple cord. Talk
Oh,
about
yes.
that.
Ooh.
Why don't you
Mine's
show us
out
your
of
cord, lady?
paracord, and it's quite long. And I like it, like when I wear my robes, I'll tie it around my bust in the front, not quite like a belt, but around my bust. It's big like that, and it'll hang down. That's how. Yep, that's how I like to wear mine. But I have a smaller one that I could wear as a necklace, and I wear it when I do ritual because it gives any positive energy. It sends it out to our group. It ties in the order of the purple cord, our cords. It's our unity, and braiding it, winding it, tying it, however you make your cord, it links you to something bigger than yourself and something positive, which is what we have in the Order of the Purple Cord, which is a free group to join, by the way. People were asking. And if you wanted to join, we put some emails down in the info box. Just send us an email. I believe I have, I think about 23 people now to email back your certificates. I'll do that once we're off the video. And get you added and everything else. So it's a free group. We're all friends. We lend our energy. It's a positive thing. And so I'll wear this here for unity of us.
Absolutely. I used to have a large cord like Lady Angela's, and mine unfortunately was stolen. But I still have my small purple cord here I made as a necklace. And you can see this is, hopefully you can see it. It's woven. It's braided cord, braided yarn. And so our only requirements when you join, we have a few just basic requirements.
Yep.
And one is that you agree to the Wiccan Rede, that you vow that you will not do black magic and curses and evil. And then we ask that you make as a sign of your connection with us your own cord. And this one was made as a necklace. So you can wear it as a necklace, as a bracelet, or as a cincture for your robe belt. Or, you know, any other way you want to wear it, and wear it in your hair. But the purple cord is our sign of unity. And, you know, purple for many thousands of years was considered the color of royalty and a magical color, because it wasn't easy. You know, nowadays we just take purple for granted, but in the olden days, you know, purple was a very hard color to make. It couldn't be made easily. It was very, very expensive. You know, very valuable. That's why it was the color of royalty, because they used to. Now, I hate to tell this, it sounds going to sound gross, but for some of you may know this, purple dye was originally made, and it was not vegan friendly, I have to tell you before I say this, but they used to take this one type of snail that could only be found in certain parts of the Mediterranean.
Be right back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell me about it.
What they used to do is they would kill the snail. They put him in a giant vat, and then they would crush them under rocks. And the secretions from the fluids and from the shell released a dye that was the purple dye. And it would take, just for a 1 ounce jar, which would be like that big, of purple dye back in the Roman times, it took over, I don't know, several thousand, like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 snails to get 1 ounce of purple dye. Now, it was really nice purple dye, but I mean, you know, you think about the cost of how many animals died. So luckily today, it was actually during the Victorian era. I'm very into the color purple, so I know the whole history. But it was in the Victorian era that they started discovering synthetic dyes, and they could make synthetic purple. So purple has actually been very rare for most of the history of the earth. And it's only recently we've been able to have the luxury, like a cord like this, or a hat like this, or like Angela's hat. Back in the Roman days, you'd have to be royalty to have it, you know.
They're really liking how our screens change back and forth. There's a certain app that we use, Google Hangouts does that, and it's really neat.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a big believer in technology.
Yep. Well, Bob, it's starting to get late on us.
Hold on just a second. I also had to finish. I forgot. I got on a tangent.
Okay. Sorry.
Maybe you know on 20 tangents.
It's true. It's true.
I told you it's not going to be horrible here today. So to join the Order of the Purple Cord, the requirements are: 1, you have to agree to the Wiccan Rede. 2, you have to make a purple cord. And then 3, you have to write to us and state your intention to join and that you will abide by the Wiccan Rite, put it in writing. And then we will issue your formal membership. And we'll get you set up on Facebook. And that's all you got to do. And as Lady Angela said, it is free. So a lot of people say, what's your membership dues? We don't charge a membership dues.
And it's international.
It's all over the world. You can be in the far-flung corner of New Zealand on a mountaintop, and you can be part of the OPC. In fact, we invite people from all over the world. We'd love to have a representative in every country on the planet, you know.
Wow, Bob, you just received, I believe, 2 donations. I guess that's like tips for your broadcast. One from a Joanne B of $2. That's awesome. And another from, they sent you a $2 donation. And another one came through a minute ago from, oh, don't be mad at me if I get your name wrong. I don't want to get it wrong. I got it wrong. So you got 2 donations. I'm sorry. It went by so quickly. How nice. Okay. That was unexpected.
It's very nice. You know, I forgot about that. In fact, I have to tell you guys, I'm still learning this stuff.
Oh, Sage Nikov was the other person. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you to both of you. I tell you, that's very kind. And that money will go to use to help further the order, like the printing a certificate.
£2. £2. They're correcting me.
Well, that's about $4. That's about $4 American. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Well, this is wonderful. Well, blessings to you, you know.
How nice.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah. That's certainly mentionable. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think we have a thing now in the chat. You can make donations while you're doing a live show. So
that's, oh, I see it. Yep. How nice.
But I haven't activated. I didn't know I'd activated it. I tried to set all this up and I didn't know if it was working, but that's cool. I guess it's working.
Yep. Yep. How nice.
You see, that's the Psychic Bob got something working. Technical, that's magic. I
know. I'm pretty proud of you getting this all going. You know, I mean, geez, that's really impressive. For you, me, I know you with your technical. I'm his technical helper. So Bob did this all on his own, and I'm like so happy. Worked it all out.
My studio went out, so.
Oh.
Can you guys still see me? My lighting went. I have a professional studio light, but if it overheats this, it shuts itself down.
Yeah, we can still see it.
Okay. Do we have another question?
I'm trying to read. Oh, they're telling me my Ganesha picture is beautiful. You know, I love Lord Ganesha, and Bob actually gifted me with this picture of Ganesha, and I have an entire altar dedicated underneath him with a statue, and I have crystals there, a money dragon. It's part of my wealth and prosperity altar. And also I love Ganesha because Ganesha will break down the boundaries. He's an elephant, and he'll tread through and trample upon the things that are blocking you from your path of success and your highest good. And for that, I just adore and worship Ganesha. And once I started worshiping Ganesha more, really a lot of positive things started flowing into my life. A lot of big challenges I was able to push through and overcome and see the path. And once I opened myself up to it, things fell into place with Lakshmi and Ganesha, who are kind of like a partnership. They're not a couple, but they're a partnership. One comes with the other, and they bring wealth and happiness and prosperity and blessings. So thank you for that. I have Ganesha in a place of honor in my home, and I really love it.
I'm so happy you love them. I love Lord Ganesha too.
Yep.
He keeps reappearing in my life. He's one of my other devoted gods. You know? And this is the thing, you know, one thing that I would tell you, especially those of you who are new to Wicca,
you might
actually start to worship one god and another god might appear. So be open to receiving messages from deities that you hadn't even planned on connecting.
I am Lord Raziel sent you $2 Canadian. How nice.
Oh, Lord Raziel. Yes, I know him. Thank you so much. This is very kind of you.
How exciting. That's
cool.
This
is great. We'll have some budget for the OPC, you know.
Maybe we can get some T-shirts and stuff. And maybe, you know, with this chat thing, how would you guys like to have a Psychic Bob T-shirt? I would like one that said, because Psychic Bob said so. I would love a shirt that said that.
You know, I love that. That's sweet. But you know, I think we should have purple cord t-shirts, you know.
Yes, we've worked on that. Yep.
Yeah. But we need to come back to that, you know,
Yep.
really keep on focus. You know, we're really starting to get focused, both of us. The last year for us in OPC has been a little we haven't been able to do as much as we wanted just because of circumstances. But we're both overcoming a lot of circumstances, and we're really in a place where we can start to really do stuff now.
Yep.
So we're glad you stuck with us, and we're going to give you more.
Yep. Well, it's starting to get late, Bob.
I just noticed the time. Yeah, we need to kind of wrap it up because it is Sunday, and I forget a lot of people got to get up early. I've got readings tomorrow. You've got work tomorrow too.
Yep.
So we need to. We're gonna close it down. But
it's been fun.
I've had a great time, and thank you, Lady Angela, for being here with me, and thank you to all of you who've come out tonight. We've had such a good time, and you know, we're going to do this more regularly. Lady Angela, I don't know if every Sunday works for you, but definitely we could try, you know, a few Sundays.
We could do an every Sunday thing, you know. I mean, maybe an hour spot every Sunday because I do get off. It's kind of like a part day every Sunday. Some I'm off and some I work, but I'm still off early enough. We could do a Sunday night show each time. I think I'm okay to commit to that.
Okay. Well, you know, I don't want to promise y'all anything, but if you guys like doing this on Sunday evening, we'd love to be with you. And, you know, just send us comments in the box below. By the way, so you know, if you just tuned in, you've missed most of the broadcast, this video is being recorded and will be posted on Spirit Channel, my channel, so you can catch up and watch it and put comments in there. You know, like it, favorite it, share it with your, you know, we need your support to help this to grow so that more people get access.
And also, if you all, we've noticed whenever it shows, you know, after the live airing and it records and our video is published, our live chat notes go away. We don't know if there's a way for them to still appear as comments under the recorded video or not. If some of you that are more familiar with this know, put some comments there. Give us some advice. You know, we're open to that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because, you know, for like, you know, all of you who donated tonight, you know, I don't know how to preserve the record. So if you can give me your names, at least for now, I'd love to hear from you and just to personally
think. Put a little comment down below for sure. We would love it. And let us know, did you like this? Which one of our last 3 videos did you like the most doing live? Did you like us doing the seances? Did you like it that I enjoyed being able to just do it freestyling and from the chat tonight? I've really enjoyed that we had that going.
I enjoyed it. You know, I love anytime I can connect with you guys. So it's all good by me. But if you have preferences or maybe certain things that you want to see on our Sunday program, like you say, well, gee, we'd like you to do a whole show just on this, we're open to that as well, you know. Or if you wanted to say every Sunday is just open chat, that's fine as well. So we're flexible. We're pretty laid back in the OPC.
Yep, right on. Well, I got to say goodnight to everybody. I got to get up at 5:30, so.
And I have to go too. I have to make one more call tonight. But guys, listen, thank you for being here. I love you. Sending my blessings to you.
Yep. Good night, all.
All right, guys, listen, we'll see you back here tomorrow. What's tomorrow, Lady Angela? Monday. Oh, you know what tomorrow is? Horoscopes. Make sure to be here. We'll have horoscopes tomorrow. So we'll see you then. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Blessings. Good night.